I'm Steve from CES. I'm one of the client finance managers, and today I'm with Yasmin.
Hello.
Who's going to talk to us about benchmarking. And what is benchmarking? Is that one of those things we used to get detention for?
You wish. Benchmarking is something that a lot of our schools ask for. It's taking up all your financial information and comparing it against other schools, either in the same decile or in the same size, or however it is that we decide to do it. And because we've got quite a few schools throughout the whole country, our database is rather large, so the information that we can get out of it is more useful than, let's say, if you've only got 40 clients, which won't really give you a big indication of how everybody else is doing what it is that you're doing.
Yes, and so where is this information coming from?
So what we do is, when the end of the financial year is done, the audits are signed, we take all that information from the accounts and we transcribe it into our database, and that's when we extract the information. So usually it will be against the amount per student, so you can compare apples with apples, because if you're doing it for the whole school, then obviously you're not comparing much. So we're doing most of it per student. We can't really go anything else because the information is just not in the annual. So if you're asking us if it's for the size, physical size of the school, then we won't be able to do it because we don't have the physical size of each school in our database.
And when is this information typically available?
So as I said, we're doing it after the annuals are done. It usually takes a wee while to input all that information and then customize it per each school, but we do try and do it before the next budget round. So this is a useful tool to have a look at, or to question us when budget time comes. You know, we're looking at increasing the salary for our receptionist. What are other schools doing? How do I compare? Do I give her a raise, or do I leave it the same?
And why would this be a useful tool for a school?
As I've said, you do compare yourselves to other schools. You always want to know if what you're doing is what other schools are doing. Are you paying too much for cleaning? Are you saving on cleaning? How am I doing with cyclical maintenance? Any funds that I collect? International students, how am I doing against that? Looking at other schools, am I making enough money? Are other schools making more money out of it?
Yeah, so it doesn't really give, it's not trying to give answers, it's just raising possible questions and putting things into context.
Yeah, and as you know, every school is slightly different, so we are looking at how schools have coded their transactions, and some transactions are coded in different schools. So while we're trying to do apples with apples, it might be Granny Smith versus Rose rather than the same type of apple. So you do have to take it with a grain of salt. For instance, if you're looking at fixed assets, the fact that you've got a low amount doesn't mean that you don't have a lot of assets. You could have just held on to them for longer, and so they're fully depreciated, but you're still making full use of them.
Yeah, so you're getting better use out of them.
Yeah. The other thing that I wanted to add is the report that we give at the end of the year only looks at 6 areas, and it's the same 6 areas. We look at them compared to the previous 3 years. We look at them compared to your decile group. You look at them compared to your size, and we look at them as overall.
So we're reporting on 6 topics. What are those 6 topics? Yes.
So the first thing we look at is the net result, whether it's a deficit or whether it's a surplus, and looking back on the last couple of years and how the trend is going. The next thing we look at is the local fundraising. Local fundraising include your grants, not from the ministry. It includes any fundraising that you may have. So there is a difference there between the schools, and it also goes per student. Then we look at the fixed assets per student. That's the net amount of fixed assets. Then we look at the working capital in months. So we're basically saying, this is your working capital based on your budget. How many months is that you're holding? We do recommend 3 months worth to be on the safe side. After that, we look at the teaching salaries per student. how much money is spent per student, and last but not least is just the overall expenses per student for the school.
And just going back to the surplus deficit part of it, can a school find out how many other schools are making a surplus or a deficit?
We give it back in percentages.
So can anyone get this benchmarking report?
Yes, but all our clients will get it for free as part of our package and what we do for our clients.
Oh, well, thank you very much, Yasmin. So if you'd like more information about this, or if you're not one of our clients and would like to participate, please look at the information below and get in touch with us, and we'd be pleased to help.